Folks, the video I've been dying to make is finally here. Today we're talking about well, guess I'll save that video till next month. Whatever, I'm talking about Sonic Generations. You know, I have been talking about this game along with Shadow Generations a lot recently. It's because, you know, it's a new release that's coming. You have to get prepared for it. However, though, I've seen a lot of people go back and play Sonic Generations to give their full reviews before the new game comes out. And you know what? I thought I could do the exact same thing. So, yesterday, I played through the entire game again, and I have to say that it's the second best Sonic game of all time. Yes, I only say second best because Unleash is a tiny bit better, but we'll have to get into a reason why. Without further ado though, here is my review of Sonic Generations, and why I think it's the second best Sonic game of all time. First, I want to talk about the story of Sonic Generations. What story, you might say? Well, yeah, Sonic Generations does have a story indeed. Yeah, I never found that out too, until I actually played the dang game, even though I skipped all the cutscenes. Anyways, the story basically boils down to Sonic's birthday, and they're celebrating it until this monster comes in named the Time Eater. And don't worry, we'll talk about him later. Anyways, continuing on, the Time Eater takes everyone that Sonic loves and cares about, and Sonic basically just goes on a quest throughout the different levels he's been through for like the past 20 years at this point, teams up with his younger self from the past, and defeats Eggman at the climax, and that's the entire story. No, I'm not joking. That's literally the entire story. Most of the cutscenes in this game are just boiled down to rescuing your friends and just stuff like that. And it really just doesn't seem that interesting. I know this is one of the problems I have with Generations, but there's more problems we'll get to in that section of the video. Overall, there's nothing to say about the story. It's really bare bones, it's just not that good. I'm not joking when I say the gameplay of Sonic Generations is the most I've enjoyed Sonic in since I played Sonic the Hedgehog. When I first played any Sonic game, my first ones on PlayStation Now, yes, were Sonic Unleashed and Sonic Generations. I played Unleashed and I could not pass the second night. I could not pass the first night stage, and that was really bad. Anyways, then I played Sonic Generations. I was like, yo, this game is actually so fun. But starting off the gameplay section, we have Classic Sonic, in which I love Classic Sonic in this game. His first 5 levels, Green Hill all the way to City Escape, are S tier and the best Classic Sonic levels in my opinion. Yes, the best Classic Sonic levels in my opinion. Better than every single level in Sonic Mania. Yeah, that's gonna be definitely a hot take. However though, Classic Sonic has a bit of a rocky history with his last 4 levels, but we'll talk on those when we get to the problems of this game. However though, Classic Sonic is amazing in this game. It is the best portrayal of Classic Sonic outside of Sonic Mania. But who really shines here though is Modern Sonic. Oh boy, when I tell you that Modern Sonic has some of the best boost levels in Sonic history, I guarantee that fact. Sonic Unleashed has some of the best boost levels, probably in the entire series, honestly. It has Obelisk Day, Empire City, Jungle Joyride, Rooftop Run, but Sonic Generations takes the gameplay style of Unleashed and makes it better. Well, I still prefer Unleashed because it has a better story and honestly better level design choices. but Generations comes so close that it's honestly really just equal, honestly. Sonic Generations does levels right. And to give a few examples, Chemical Plant. Look at the level design. Just honestly pitch perfect in everything way possible. City Escape. Definitely one of the best levels in Sonic Generations and Sonic history. The skateboarding segment is great. The platforming segment, oh my god, it's amazing. And do I need to talk about Rooftop Run? Such an amazing level from start to finish. Amazing to speed run, and just, oh my god, you need to play that. It's not better than the Unleashed one, but it's pretty dang close if you ask me. But, the last level for Modern Sonic is, the worst level in the game. But, enough about that. We'll just have to save that for the problems of the way. However though, Modern Sonic has some of the best gameplay in the entire series. And with the video I did with my cousin Rowan on Sonic RS Production, where I discussed which side of Sonic Generations is better, I said Modern Sonic because he has a lot better platforming and his levels are overall more funner than Classic Sonic. Doesn't mean I hate Classic Sonic, don't misunderstood. It's just all of Modern Sonic's levels, except for Planet Wisp, are just generally better than Classic's levels. Except for one, Chemical Plant. Yes, I think Classic Chemical Plant is better than Modern Chemical Plant. But that's just my opinion. Anyways, time for the short section of this video, the boss fights. These are weird because there's actually two types of boss fights in this game. One are the main boss fights and also the rival fights. The rival fights are just the mini versions where you go up against a rival from the past Sonic games. Those rivals being Metal Sonic from Sonic CD, Shadow the Hedgehog from Sonic Adventure 2, and Silver the Hedgehog from Sonic 06. And yeah, these are basically all the rival fights. With the main boss fights in this game being Death Egg Robot from Sonic the Hedgehog 2, Perfect Chaos from Sonic Adventure, and of course Egg Drag Jid from Sonic Unleashed. All these boss fights are equally fun, but there's one boss I really don't like in the game, but I'm pretty sure we already know what that is. But to start with Metal Sonic, I think he's a really good boss fight. It's pretty simple, honestly. Nothing too spectacular. Definitely not better than the CD race, but overall, it gets the job done. The second rival fight in the game is Shadow the Hedgehog, and he's my second favorite boss fight in the game. Just how it's presented is just amazing. The way that Sonic and Shadow clash on the moon, the fact that it's like an actual race. I never played the Space Colony Arc fight in Sonic Adventure 2, and I most likely never will. That's just a joke, I'm working on it. Anywho, the boss fight in Sonic Generations is amazing, and I can't wait to see the Shadow Generations version too, because it looks so much better. Anyways, this fight is amazing, and the way you beat Shadow by just racing to the orb is great. However though, I wish Shadow got something a lot to do in this game. I guess that's kind of what they're doing with Shadow Generation. I mean, that is what they're doing, so I can forgive them with that. But still, Shadow was just underutilized in Sonic Generations. But then again, I can kind of forgive it, since it was basically just a story about Sonic going through his past, and nothing really to do with Shadow. So you know what? Not really a big deal if you ask me. The third rival fight, Silver, is honestly my third favorite boss in the game, for numerous reasons. One is that it takes the gameplay from Shadow and just kinda makes it better. The cars and obstacles that Silver throws at you are pretty cool, plus the cinematics look way better, honestly. Nothing to the standard of Shadows, honestly. I mean, it's definitely better than Metal Sonic, but I could still consider Shadows my favorite. However, what makes Silver such a good boss is just all of the things he throws at you, and plus that final climax. Getting that final hit is kind of a pain, but I could definitely prefer it over the other boss fights that we get to. As for the main bosses in the game, the first one we meet is the Death Egg Robot, the worst boss in Sonic the Hedgehog 2, and an absolute pain in the ass when I first played it. Managed to be an okay boss in Generations. not the worst boss in Sonic Generations, but definitely not the best either. Look, I'm not gonna lie, I didn't really like the classic Sonic boss fights that much. Metal Sonic's was pretty good, but this one was just okay. I feel like boss fights would work better for Sonic, modern Sonic in this game, because, I don't know, it just feels a lot better, if you ask me. Slightly better than the Death Egg Robot is Perfect Chaos. Now, I'm not gonna lie to you, when I replayed this boss from my playthrough, I found it to be a tad overrated. Don't get me wrong, it's still a good boss, but on this replay through, I kind of prefer the Adventure Final boss over this. I mean, it's because the climactic of Super Sonic is way cooler, if you ask me. But still, I really find it fascinating that back in Sonic Adventure, Sonic had to defeat Perfect Chaos in his super form. But now in Generations, he could just beat him in his base form, no issues, and just... wow, Sonic has really grown in the past 20 years at this point. Well, I guess it's 30 years, but hey, whatever. According to this, 20 years. But yeah, still, Perfect Chaos overall, pretty good boss fight. There's not one I'm gonna replay that much. However though, the best boss fight in Sonic Generations by a landslide was the Egg Dragoon. Take the boss from Sonic Unleashed, which was already one of the best bosses in the game, and make it better. Like, honestly, this is just the Egg Dragoon boss from Sonic Unleashed, just with modern Sonic's gameplay. And just mixing that in this gameplay style, and just, you got a peak boss right here. The penultimate boss before the final boss, which I really wish this was the final boss, but hey, good things can't always come true. But this boss fight is still amazing. The way you grind on rails, attack on his head, body, and the way you skydive next to him, oh boy, it's so good. I wish we get to see more bosses like this. In Frontiers now, we just got Super Sonic bosses, which I'm never complaining, because those boss fights were peak. Anywho, Sonic Generations Egg Dragoon is definitely one of the best boss fights in the game, and definitely the best one in the game. However though, to shy away from this game's greatness, we're going to talk about the problems. I've already talked about the story and how it's not really part of the main aspect of Generations, but we've already dedicated a whole section to that. So we're going to leave that part out here. However, to start off this, we have Planet Wisp, the penultimate level to the final boss. And basically the final level, honestly. And this level sucks. Both classic and modern were super bad, honestly. I mean, you've already got everything mid about classics earlier ones with Crisis City and Rooftop Run, and make it worse by adding Planet Wisp. The modern one is even very much better. You have the stupid rocket wisp, plus the annoying ass platforming, mixed with, I just can't shake my mind of how eagerly bad this level is. I still can't believe I got an S rank on it. I hate this level so much. It's definitely one of my least favorite levels in Sonic history. Like, the Planet Wisp one in Sonic Colors is far better than the one here. And if you genuinely think, and I mean you genuinely think this level is better than the one in Colors, you're tweaking. You're tweaking out. Anywho, Planet Wisp sucks. The worst level in 3D Sonic history. Yes, you can go fight me on that, but yes, I hate Planet Wisp that much. You might be thinking, how much I hate Planet Wisp. There possibly can't be anything worse than that until you make it to the final boss. Yeah, if you thought the final level was the worst level in the game, then brace yourself, because this is the worst boss fight in 3D Sonic history. Yes, even worse than the end from Sonic Frontiers, the original one. Yes, the original end. So, this boss fight, you probably think, oh, it's a Super Sonic boss fight, so it's definitely going to be interesting. You got two Sonics. What can you dislike about it? Well, what if I told you, pretty much the entirety of the boss fight is boosting. That's literally all it is. You're just boosting into the core. And that's it. You don't even have to switch to 2D. When you have to hear these annoying ass people shout out, "Look out for the homing shot. Careful, Sonic." And it's just, Thankfully, I did not have this on because I would have to say some words that I don't really like to say. Classic Sonic is so useless in this boss fight. It is actually so funny. You barely have to switch to 2D, and the boss fight is so boring. It's so boring. It's not even fun. It's not interesting. There's no good ending. It's just a bad boss. Like, honestly, I cannot stress enough how much I hate the Time Eater. And if this is true that they are rewriting Sonic Generations, then please rewrite Time Eater, because this is not a final boss to one of the best Sonic games ever made. This is not how you make it. How to make an actual good final boss is perfect Dark Gaia, or just Dark Gaia in general. This is not it. I am shocked how they managed to left this in the cutting room floor, because this is a terrible excuse for a final boss. Though I will say though, that ending where both of the Sonics combine their energy together to that one fireball that Time Eater spits is really cool, honestly, and the only worthy part of this battle. So that's basically all my problems for Sonic Generations. The Planet Wisp and the Time Eater. Two really awful things that I'm never playing again until Sonic X Shadow Generations releases. So yeah, that's Sonic Generations for you. I know I left out some things like the white space and the extra missions and all the stuff you can do in it, so I'll capitalize it here. So you got this open world that's a 2D space that you get to do missions in, and it's pretty fun. All the missions except for 2 are really fun, honestly, and just overall good time for 100%ing. Would I recommend 100%ing Sonic Generations? Well, if it's your first time 100%ing a Sonic game, I say go for it. Better than 100%ing Sonic Forces. Overall though, Sonic Generations, no matter the flaws it has, will always remain as a special place in my heart because of the impact it left in the Sonic series. You gotta remember, in this point in time, Sonic was a failure in the 2000s. His games were approaching mediocre scores, and his fans were just leftly disappointed by all the games that it brought overhead. Until the 2010s, when Sonic Colors releases, and seemed to bring back Sonic back, and then this game dropped, and it bring back Sonic rolling until it sent him to another downfall. But you gotta remember, Generations fixed Sonic, and I'm never letting go of my love for this game. As much people says this game is overrated now these days, I will never stop loving Sonic Generations.